Why were we cursed with bumped ends as little girls as a style choice? Being called fast basically means that you are doing something that is triggering the older black people. That could be behavior. That could be just the way that you're dressed. It could be by a lot of things. Respectability politics and always wanting to be the best representation of blackness wherever you go. But in this conversation, not only just being the best representation of blackness, but being the best representation of black femininity, because you literally do not want to be seen as fast. There's this assumption that you're trying to gain validation by boys. Guys, it is Naima, also known as Bunny Online, the MB, and today I want to talk about being considered a fast black girl and how being called fast as a child is literally the beginnings of a villain origin story. So let's get into the topic. Hi, it's so great to be back looking cute. What inspired this video?
I was watching Cameron Suzanne's video essay
on the OMG girls, and I started thinking, wow, I did not know at the time that they were receiving complaints by members of the black community, probably moms and aunties, that the girls appear too grown. The group itself is too grown. So, who are the OMG girls? The OMG girls is a pop, R&B, and hip-hop group from the early 2010s. So each member had their own individual hair color. This group was literally pivotal in how I viewed myself and femininity for myself going into the future. So what is fast? Fast has no definition, okay? I want you to stick, me and you, we're here, right? There is no clean-cut definition of being fast, but it is a label that once you get it as a black girl, it's hard to erase off your resume, okay? It's stupid, it's idiotic, and above all else, it's another form of what? Policing. Not just policing, but it's a form of respectability politics. Because it follows us everywhere. Being called fast basically means that you are doing something that is triggering the older black people. That could be your mama, your sister, your auntie, even your uncles, your father, somebody. Some elder in the community is being triggered by something that you're doing. That could be behavior. That could be just the way that you're dressed. All of these rules, all of these principles in being considered fast. And here's the rundown of my list. Having red nails is considered fast. Having long hair, considered fast. Wearing too much jewelry. How you dress goes into being considered fast as well. If you wear them crop tops, if you wear booty shorts with nothing underneath, as in like no long sleeve shirt underneath, no tank top underneath, fast. With no leggings underneath, fast. How you literally carry yourself as a child may be considered fast. Bending over the wrong way, fast. How you literally talk to people, fast. If you blink your eyes too slowly, if you literally always lean in to conversation, even if you have too many guy friends, you're considered fast. Hey, and I was plagued with that. Listen, it's not my fault that like I just so happen to have more guy friends. I just so happen to have more guy friends. It is what it is, you know? But then also, I do have to think, around the time that I was born, here's this weird thing. Now I'm thinking about it. When I was in elementary school, all throughout elementary school, we had more boys in the class than girls. Shouldn't it be 50-50, the population growth? But that's neither here nor there. I just so happen to, you know, get along with guys a lot faster and quicker. I think predominantly because I grew up with a brother in the home, and so like it was easier for me to randomly have a conversation about, oh, like you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yeah, Michelangelo, yeah, I get it, that's my man, yeah, you know, have dumb conversations like that. It could be by a lot of things. Being considered fast is a bad thing. They're just trying to call you grown. You're doing something that's not childlike. And I want to talk about that. I want to dig into that deeper. Editing Naima here, so here are my thoughts because I need to clear some things up. First things first, I am referring to myself as a girl throughout the entire video because I was socialized as a girl and my childhood literally reflects that. I talked about that in my previous long form video, so please make sure that you check that out. Outside of my self-plug, growing up as a Black child, you are objectified, adultified, and over-sexualized. And the reasonings behind that is because of our blackness. Blackness, especially in Western society, ages you for whatever reason. And it makes people believe through their own specs that whatever you're doing won't be considered as innocent as other people outside of the community, right? But along with that are the people within our community, our Black elders. And you have two subsects, right, of people that I'm discussing in this video who use the language fast or grown, fresh, whatever. You have well-intentioned Black members of the community who are earnestly trying to look out for you and make sure that they try to reduce the amount of harm that you face in this life. However, you also just have dickheads. And both can grant you negative experiences and resentment, especially with how they managed the care of you. On one end, you have one who earnestly cares, but because of respectability politics, because of policing, because of all these norms that we have within our culture, they're going about it in a way that I don't agree with. And on the other end, you have people who are literally just using you as a mirror to project harm that they faced back onto you because they feel as though, well, if I was harmed, you should be harmed too in the same way. Which is weird. But then again, those are the same people who don't necessarily believe in therapy. So there's that. One is trying to reduce harm. The other is trying to project harm. There's this assumption that you're trying to gain validation by boys, from men, possibly even. And ultimately, are you doing that? Probably not. And I think it goes into a deeper topic, which is the lack of ability of Black girls being able to explore themselves, their sexuality, and their gender due to respectability politics and misogynoir.
If you're anything like me, then you also love self-expression. And today we have received our first ad. Gaileen's Dreams is a Black-owned business and they sell spiritual clothing items and jewelry accessories. I was so lucky enough to be reached out to by Vanessa, and I chose to receive a pyrite bracelet that was then paired with a pyrite ring.
Wow!
You see that rock? Don't play. Exactly. I love this set. It's so pretty and it literally goes with any outfit. So please make sure that you check out Gaileen's Dreams today. Please check them out. It will be in my bio. And thank you again, Vanessa. Bye.
This topic interests me a lot because I was considered fast. Why, you may ask? I'll tell you. So I was considered fast at a very early age. I would say in kindergarten. I don't remember none of this also. Like, this is all like family lore, if anything. One day, my kindergarten teacher, so he calls home one day after school and he has this conversation with my grandmother, and he basically tells her the way that I was dancing in class was inappropriate. My grandma must have told my brother about it, and my brother sat my mom and my grandma down that night, basically telling them if they don't begin raising me right, I may end up as a stripper and a worker at Magic City. And so they all had to sit down with me, telling me that I need to conduct myself in a more respectable manner. So you may be asking, what were you doing in kindergarten? What dance were you doing? So if you watched weekend 1 of Coachella and Megan Thee Stallion brought out Sierra because she did a remix to Sierra's Goodies, right? So they had that cute little collaborative dance moment. In that moment while I was watching that, I was like, oh my God, that's how I used to dance. I was crumping in my kindergarten classroom. And when I was crumping, it was too much. It was inappropriate, I guess. And me crumping led to this immediate thought of, wow, Naima could end up as a stripper in Magic City. Does that make sense? No. And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that, like, ultimately, that Black girls are policed all throughout their childhood. That literally restricts them in the way that they express themselves because it makes adults uncomfortable due to the fact that what? Black girls are literally over-sexualized from the time that they're children into teenagehood. And so by being over-sexualized, we're deemed less likely to be victims, but moreover, we're considered aggressive. We're too promiscuous. We're too flirtatious. I remember like a conversation like a couple of years ago. It possibly started on Facebook, but I saw it on Instagram. And this happened back when I was like in high school, when there was like a picture, a side by side of like a little white girl with long hair and a little black girl with long hair, and how the little black girl was being received because she has long hair versus how the little white girl was being received for her long hair. A little white girl having long hair is expected, but a little black girl having long hair is not expected. And in fact, it's a violation because black girls, in order to still be seen as children, should automatically have shorter hair, bumped ends. We have to play into our age a lot more because we're so overly sexualized, right? That goes into the conversation of bumped ends. Why were we cursed with bumped ends as little girls? As a style choice. I assume that it goes into this belief that if the hair is super, like if it's short, if it touches your shoulder and it's bumped, then that would somehow signal into the sky that you're a child, even when your body doesn't correlate with the age. Because here's the thing about being a black girl, being born a black girl, right? You may just be born curvy. And because of that, because you have no control in how your body develops and when it develops, your body plays against you. I was a child who was born more curvy than average. My mom isn't as curvy as me. She's more top heavy, but my dad is bottom heavy. And those are his genes that I had as a child. But to me, the child, I don't think about my body. I don't think about these things when I'm navigating the world, especially as a child. So imagine me one day bending over the wrong way and just, oh my God, that little girl is too grown. That little girl is too fast. Because you want to be bending over, giving everybody a show. Oh my God. I don't know my body. I can't see my body. I'm inside of my body. I think overall, being called fast is just another way of policing black girls and their femininity, policing their behavior, policing how they dress. And again, it's literally a symptom of respectability politics and always wanting to be the best representation of blackness wherever you go. But in this conversation, not only just being the best representation of blackness, but being the best representation of black femininity, because you literally do not want to be seen as fast. So you're fed these narratives of, oh, if you're a fast girl, then you're promiscuous and that you get around. And by getting around, like, you'll probably never find a husband, or you'll probably end up as a S worker. As a community, we shame almost everybody to an extent. Doesn't matter that much. It ultimately don't, but like, why do we do this? Black girls are already treated as if they're adults by everyone outside of the black community, but to add insult to injury, people within the community, our fellow black leaders and elders, join in on this punching down, continuing the narrative that we, black girls, black femmes who are also in their youth, are older beyond their years, more sexual beyond their years. And this began a vicious cycle of performing youth through dress codes and the restriction of accessing parts of our personality because it's intimidating and it is considered downright immoral. Our youth is a performance, and when you mess up, you will be stoned through being socially isolated,
You will experience levels of verbal abuse, and you will be resented within the community. We have to protect our sons from girls like you. Meanwhile, the girls are raised, and then the boys are allowed to play. The term fast is really a cornerstone of grape culture within the Black community. And even though the boys are allowed to play, they also exhibit and they go through their own level of restrictions, because within the Black community there is this fear, but it's more evident that this fear comes through boys. So we have to do our best to protect our Black sons from getting wrapped up in any parts of the system. In a way, do we raise our girls and allow our sons some level of freedom? Because let's be real, the Black community does have a misogynoir problem. We value men more than our women. And in particular, when it comes to policing, men as little boys are policed, but not in the same ways that Black girls are policed. A good talking point when it comes to this topic, right, is even though I don't like this man because I'm pretty sure this man is still colorist, but the conversation around YG and him talking about his SA story about how he was raped as I think a teenage boy, I think he was 13, by like an older woman, and how for men who are raped by women, who are SA'd by women as boys, their stories are not seen as victimhood stories. Instead, they're pedestalized because they just so happen to get sexual attraction and attention by older women. But in the same case, right, when we talk about cases of SA and Grape that happen to young Black girls by older men, instead, we have a problem in the community where these girls are seen as villains and they're vilified. They're literally treated as if, well, you know they wanted it. Yeah, you see these text messages. You clearly see that the girls are really into it. They're just fast. They're just promiscuous. They're just this. They're just that. Instead of understanding, in both cases, they're both being manipulated, mistreated, and abused. But one case is seen as, you must be doing something right because you got the attention of an older woman. But for the Black girls who are literally going through cycles of SA and other forms of abuse, they're literally vilified. Not only that, the ability to be a victim is stripped away. So both are stripped of victimhood, but one is seen as, oh my God, like you're that guy, you're goated. Because what the fuck, I wish that happened to me. Versus the girls, and the girls are treated like, what the fuck did you do? You're a fucking weirdo. Wow. Ew. You're disgusting. What the fuck? You're not a victim. Now you're gonna be trying to claim that you're a victim. You're trying to claim victimhood. The real victim is the man. There are so many cases of this. The one that kept popping up for me was Ayanna Sawyer, but I'm specifically talking about Naziah Harris. She was a 13-year-old girl who went missing, and allegedly her uncle Jarvis Butts was abusing her. Meanwhile, the aunt was perfectly aware of everything that was happening. Her case is ultimately so sad and traumatic. Again, this is like more common than we discuss in the Black community when it comes to like SA, especially when it comes to SA within our family structures. The fact of the matter is, people literally wrote off Naziah as just a fast Black girl. All the while, a grown 41-year-old man was communicating with her, grooming his niece. All the while, he already was known among his family to be a weirdo. But nevertheless, Naziah's aunt literally did nothing to stop that man from engaging with her niece. The term fast black girl is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to black girls being over-sexualized and undervalued. And that's ultimately my point. That language is just the beginning of it. You have the people who claim that they genuinely care about the black girls and the black femmes within the community, but they still intend on using really bad language to describe a girl that ultimately you're not helping. You're just embedding more resentment on that girl's end. I think these are incredibly complex conversations, but I just wanted this one to be like a starting point, especially because you're justifying being really weird to young black girls, telling them you're being fast, all the while. Are they really being fast? I don't even think that they are. As a matter of fact, we should be asking, if I see a young black girl exhibiting hypersexual behaviors, I should ask, where is this coming from? Where is this stemming from? What is happening? How can I help? And how can I be a better community member to this young girl or femme? But instead, the term fast is just another way of vilifying black girls and femmes and treating them as if they can never be a victim. But two, you're blaming them and basically saying, wow, the way you're behaving is so bad, I want to distance myself from you. I don't want my daughters around you so that could rub off on them. I don't want my sons around you because you could potentially trap them. You're a bad member of this community, and because of that, I need to distance myself from you. And so through being called fast, in a way, you're subjecting this black girl to isolation. You're subjecting her to never finding a tried and true community that actually cares about her needs, cares about her trauma, cares about all the things that she's been through, cares about the fact that she just so happened to bend over the wrong way, and just have a simple conversation with her. Instead of having conversations, we just place a label on a person and then silently distance, instead of placing labels on the right fucking people. Placing the labels on the weird uncles, placing the labels on the weird family members, placing the labels on the weird guys in the neighborhood who just so happen to be stalking girls, grown men stalking girls as they go to school, begging them, oh my God, could you just talk to me? What's your name? Oh, da 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 da. I've seen it and I've heard it from girls in my community. These are not just one-off incidents. These happen on a daily basis. The fact that it is so simple to just write off a girl as fast instead of writing off the weirdos within our community, and not just the men, the women too. The women are weird as well. You have the pick-me's who go up for these men, trying to defend these men because, God forbid, a black man just so happened to be a bad black man. But instead of understanding that, first of all, we're not a monolith. No one in any community of any race is a monolith. But it has to be said that the way that there is a level of instinctual protection of black men and boys, in a way enables bad behavior in them, which they then inflict on black girls and other women and femmes, because it's not just a heterosexual type of discussion, right?
This happens in queer relationships. This happens in queer spaces. This happens in every space within the Black community. It happens in the church. It happens in the secular world. It happens in the queer community. It happens everywhere. It's Grape culture speak to use fast and to label that onto a girl, to a femme, and to randomly just be like, you're fast, you're fast. You're vilifying them. You're saying that you can never be a victim, and that instead we need to distance and we need to isolate you out because something is going on with you and you need to figure it out all on your own, and we will not help you. There is no true Black community until we understand all the nooks and crannies within the community, where we go wrong, where we could be better, and how we can improve. I just said that twice. But like how we can literally use where we're going wrong to improve. We have to start holding weird women accountable for being participants in Grape culture. Because yes, women can SA other women, girls, boys, and men. Hold men accountable for being weird. Oh my God, is holding up the peace sign making the balloons pop up? My bad. Holding these men accountable for their actions, how they impact people, how they impact members of the community through Grape culture, but also starting to change the way that we view children within the Black community. Because I'm 24, you know? And I know to this day, Black people who literally call Black girls, Black femmes, fast. I don't like it. It's really weird. I side-eye those people. In my family, I try to have discussions with them. But honestly and truthfully, you cannot change the mind of somebody who don't want their mind changed. But you could be the difference. You can literally be the difference in how you engage with children, with teens, in your family, in your community, by changing how we have these conversations, how we literally discuss people. So yeah, the beginning of my villain origin story was when my brother decided one day that me crumping in class could have been the downfall that led me into the strip club. Because crumping is too grown. My hope is that as we grow into elders in the community over these next couple of decades, if the world still exists, that we grant a safer space for Black girls to explore themselves in ways in which that we can be there and ease their process into becoming who they wish to become. You know, I don't think you can ever fully police children. I don't really believe in policing children either. I believe in guiding them. And if you see a child out there, out and about, and you know them, like if they're in your intermediate family or whatever, just have conversations with them. Understand that children are literally people who have voices that deserve to be heard and seen at the same time. And they have the ability to write their own narrative as they're growing up. And so yeah, that was my rant. That was my rant about being called a fast Black girl